Alrighty, everyone, hello. So, as I promised, I did want to take you through a little bit about resources when it comes to Christian witchcraft. So, that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're especially going to talk about the books that I recommend the most and where you can find a more complete list. So, first things first, again, I will put it out there one more time. Discovering Christian Witchcraft. She's a thing. She is real. She is here. And so if you wanted to literally have like basically all of these books condensed into one single easy to digest volume, pre-order that book, because this one, if you don't have the money or space for 1,000,000,002 books, if you don't have any access at the libraries or anything, if you don't have the time itself to get through all of these tomes, because it takes a lot of time, then by all means, yes, grab this one book, because I basically take all the pertinent information out of all of these different sources and put them in one easy, clear, concise way with my co-writer, Email, aka Mimi, who you can find on Blogspot, on TikTok, and everywhere else. Definitely follow her, check her out, she's very cool. But anyway, also, if you check out my blog page on my website, I do also have an entire list of sources that I put down. This source list is literally all of the stuff that I referenced to write Discovering Christian Witchcraft, and a lot of them are JSTOR articles as well. So if you have like access through your library or your school on JSTOR, you can check out a lot of these articles and just kind of read them for free. They're not super long. Some of them are like 50 pages or more, but some of them are also like, I think the shortest one was maybe like 2-3 pages, so there's a lot of great stuff in there. But anyway, this is my bookshelf down here. Like, this is the witchy section of my bookshelf, not including like cookbooks and stuff. This is pretty much all of the content that I would consider my witchy stuff. I got a separate section for like Bibles as well, but in essence, this is the scholarship, the witchy stuff. This is all of that down here, right? And as you can see, there are a lot of books, and you're not gonna often find books that have to do with Christianity and witchcraft at the same time. It's just not like, it's just not a thing people have done. They've talked about witchcraft as a social institution. They've talked about witchcraft in a modern sense. They've talked about Christianity now and as a history. They've talked about translations and all these other kinds of wonderful, really good stuff that is super helpful for understanding Christian witchcraft. But if you're not someone who knows how to synthesize information, obviously, right? A lot of these look like they don't have anything to do with anything, right? Like city witchery and all that stuff doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. At the same time, though, some are deceptive, like a Hearth Witch's Year here. Yeah, that one has a lot of stuff, including Saint Feast Days, which really did surprise me, because this author, in the way she kind of talks about Christianity, does seem to have, like most modern witchy types, a bit of a chip on her shoulder towards it, which is understandable. But she still includes all of these culturally relevant saint days in England, which is, I believe, where she is stationed. And that is a really good way to see like how a lot of this magical lifestyle gets syncretized into Christian practice. And of course, other ones, if you can read between the lines, like Italian folk magic or ethnobotany of Slovenia, these ones are incredible, especially Sacred Plants and Rituals ethnobotany of Slovenia, because this one doesn't tell you specifically like how to do witchcraft, obviously. This one is very much just talking about plants as they were used in Slovenia, and also like folklore and folk customs and traditions around them that had pre-Christian roots. But if you can read between the lines, you can use many a thing in here, especially if it's a culturally relevant thing like it is for me as a Slovenian. Same thing with books like Slavic Kitchen Alchemy, same things with books like Anathema Maranatha. These are books that talk a lot about history and a lot about culture and tradition, but also show you some ways that you can kind of homebrew your own magic. But if I did have to pick a few books that anyone should start off with, I'm willing to bet some people are going to guess that I'm going to hold up Magic and Christianity from Jesus to the Gnostics. This one, of all the books I have, is the one that so succinctly says it outright. They're like, yup, magic and miracle are the same damn thing. It's always been that way. There was never the distinction we have now. Here's what it looked like. This book is fantastic for that kind of scholarly basis, right? Another book I'm going to mention, even though it is really dense and really difficult, and I'm sorry in advance, is Jürgen Moltmann's A Crucified God, because this is the philosophical, like frame of mind section that's really important for Christian witches to have, I think. Granted, it's dense, and just like with the other ones, I got like 100 pages left, but I mean, after reading this much, I feel like I earned the right to call it done regardless, because this is mostly like the ways towards psychological liberation, which is important, and I would like to read it, but also like I've been brain fried by all of that. So still, this is great because it really helps you understand the Trinity, understand God, understand what the crucifixion was, not from the gross like Jesus died for you stuff, but like the actual cool, radical, liberating idea of the crucifixion. So this is great for getting that kind of like moral, philosophical, theological compass set, in my opinion. I also really do recommend a good astrology book, just because like if you know anything about like the stars and the planets in your own birth chart, that is just a great tool to have, honestly, and this book is so helpful. Like, when they say the only astrology book you'll ever need, they mean it. This is a good book. It's got so much stuff in it. I really, really, really like it. And I've read through a lot of it. And, like, obviously, right, like, if you're not a Virgo, you don't really need to read about Virgo, so you can, you know, you could read what you need to read, and then just kind of keep it pushing. So, don't be intimidated by massive, super thick books. I highly recommend people also have a good encyclopedia of like herbs and spices and things like that. There are a couple that I have on here. I mean, the Hearth Witch's Kitchen Herbal is really good. This is my favorite one, Scott Cunningham. I know he's a bit controversial, and some of his correspondences are not like the most sound, but for the most part, it gives me ideas and helps me not have to like come up with correspondences from scratch, and that's really helpful. And honestly, I would really consider looking into mystic figures. So if you pick up books like Megan Watterson's Mary Magdalene Revealed, if you pick up any books about or by Saint Hildegard, these are also really good. These will help you with that philosophical component, just like Jürgen Moltmann's will. These will help you get more in touch with a type of Christianity that like modern churches just don't want to see. Like, they just want to pretend it doesn't exist when it does and has for a long time. Like, these will help you get a lot of really good ideas as to how to integrate herbs, stones, your femininity, divine feminine, into a Christian mindset. Very, very good. I'll be honest with you though, that resource list I put on my blog, I put it there for a reason, because like, yeah, I could recommend you 5 books, I could recommend you 10, I could recommend you 15, I could recommend you that entire list, which I am. Because that entire list is really, really important for understanding what the hell's going on. That entire list is... all of that goes into Discovering Christian Witchcraft, as I said before. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of stuff, and it's really hard for me to say, like, well, what's more important than the other? It's all important, right? But if you want to get started slow and easy, definitely this book, you're gonna love it. But also, if you know you can't wait the next like 3 months, 2 months or so until that comes out, by all means try getting a couple of the source materials for it, like Magic and Christianity, like The Crucified God. Let me tell you, by the time you're done with both of those, it'll probably be June, so we're good. But with all that said, definitely take a peek again at that list. Let me know if there's other books that you think that I would be interested in, or you know, that you want to know about from this big shelf that I showed you. I'll be happy to talk a little bit more about them. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!